Well, the political battle over Ishrat Jehan has intensified today with Congress President Sonia Gandhi coming out to defend her party. But the questions are building up on why the UPA government seems so keen to delete references to Ishrat's alleged LET links. Those links first came up when David Headley took her name when he was questioned by the NIA in 2010. But that was never part of the NIA's charge sheet. Former Home Secretary G.K. Pillai has accused then Home Minister Chidambaram of changing a Home Ministry affidavit which left out the reference to Ishrat and the Lashkar. Mr. Chidambaram says yes, he did ask for a change, but defends it, saying that it wasn't for the Intelligence Bureau to give inputs on whether she was a terrorist or not. Now the Congress is saying today that the affidavit was changed because a magistrate had found Ishrat innocent. Dr. Ajay Kumar, let me ask you, is the Congress on the back foot here on the Ishrat case? At the end of the day, there are so many people, whether it's the former Home Secretary, other officials, people in the Intelligence Bureau at the time, those who were investigating officers, they're all coming out and saying that there was enough evidence, that they were deliberately put under pressure to omit this reference to her being a terrorist. Is this more than a little bit embarrassing for the Congress today?
Not at all, Nidhi. See, Nidhi, why were those affidavits filed? The affidavits were primarily filed because a judicial magistrate, Mr. Tawang, there was a complaint filed by Ishrat Jehan's family, and then a judicial magistrate inquired into it and found adequate reasons to say it was a false encounter. And the Government of India was asked to file an affidavit with the High Court of Gujarat. So it is post a judicial process, which was then went up to the High Court, and the government was responding to a judicial procedure in which, because otherwise there was no need for the Government of India or the Home Minister to file an affidavit. So it was based on the reasons of a magistrate, judicial magistrate, finding adequate grounds to say that the people involved in this case, the case appears to be a false encounter, appears to be. So that is and the second part which I want to get to it is, the same Government of India, the same Mr. Chidambaram's government, send the Intelligence Bureau inputs to the state government. Based on those information, these actions, whatever happened on the ground, were taken. Now they are alleging that the UPA government was targeting Mr. Modi. If at all, they should thank Mr. Chidambaram in terms of his intelligence apparatus, which he was heading at that time as a minister, was responsible in informing the state government of the inputs which we were giving. So the issue is whether the affidavits, and the second part is Mr. Pillai conveniently forgets after 6 years. But in 2013, in July, in Guwahati, to an ANI news agency, he himself said that those two affidavits are correct, because the first affidavit was based on information. The second affidavit was filed on the corrected information, which we were able to say. Many times, let me remind you that many... one second, Nidhi, very important point. Many times the government, this government, previous government, when it files a second affidavit based on evidences available at that time, has always, because when you file it in the High Court, you have got to be absolutely sure. So Mr. Chidambaram was correctly saying, and if I can have the luxury of reading it.
No, 1 second, before you have that luxury. Ajay Kumar, just 1 second before you read that out. This is the defense that the Congress has come out with today about Magistrate Tamang's order. Why didn't Mr. Chidambaram, when we interviewed him just a few days ago, and he's been on various other news channels as well, and he's given public statements, he has not used that in his defense. When he was asked about this, he said, yes, I did it, but other Home Ministry officials knew about it. The Intelligence Bureau gives inputs. It is not there to declare someone as a terrorist. How come he hasn't cited that? Has this come as an afterthought, as a belated defense?
Not at all, Nidhi. The question which Mr. Chidambaram was asked, and he was man enough to say to everybody else, listen, I did it based on the inputs I received. The Home Secretary then, Mr. Pillai, did not send a dissenting note. And have you noticed that how the bureaucrats, the test of integrity was you could always send a dissenting note. So my question is Mr. Pillai's statement. Now forget Mr. Pillai being a director in Adani or Mr. Money making crazy allegations and all. Look, but the fact is, why does Mr. Pillai getting into Adani suddenly realizing, suddenly finding God after 6 years when he's so close to people who are close to this government? So the statements which leaves you with a bad taste in the mouth is that the affidavits were filed because there was a court judicial process which found the encounter to be faked. It is not whether, and same government has said that the other three people have evidences of being terrorists. So the question is,
but let me ask
UPA
Praveen.
government sends the intelligence bureau to...
Okay, you made that
UPA
point.
government sends
Praveen
an
Swami
intelligence
is here
bureau
with us,
people to
and
the ground.
Praveen's covered this story extensively. Having seen the back and forth that has gone on this, Praveen, when you hear what the Congress's defense is on this, I mean, my question is, why didn't Mr. Chidambaram say on day one? It's because of the magistrate's order.
Possibly because the story wasn't quite as simple as that. And look,
Exactly.
we really end up talking about three things at the same time whenever we discuss the case. And the first is the question of whether the encounter was a genuine encounter or a fake encounter. That's what the magisterial inquiry was concerned with, not the question of Ishrat's guilt or otherwise.
Although the magistrate did say she was an innocent
The magistrate
girl.
said a large number of things, including, the evidence he cited were bizarre things about women never traveling without a handkerchief from Delhi to Ahmedabad. It's not the most coherent or lucid document. But leave that aside. That matter's been investigated. That matter's been dealt with. The CBI went into it. It's in a court of law. The question of whether Ishrat was a terrorist or not a terrorist is completely irrelevant for the purposes of the fake encounter matter. That leaves two other questions. The first was whether the Congress, possibly scared of the political fallout of being seen as enforcing the law in a case where someone was a terrorist, tried to elide over or brush over the question of her possible links with terrorist groups. And there's no doubt that it did. This was not the only thing that it did, changing the affidavit. It also airbrushed over the publicly leaked copy of the Headley National Investigations Agency interrogation.
Which they said was hearsay.
Right,
Yeah.
and which they said was hearsay, but that's not a reason to delete sentences out of a document. And nobody made a great deal of effort to get to the bottom of it. There were people with evidence in Jammu and Kashmir in another case. I don't recall the UPA government being very serious about chasing that. But that's a whole other story. To my mind, whether Ishrat Jahan Raza was a terrorist or not a terrorist, it's unconscionable that she was shot in cold blood. We don't do that in a democracy.
Except the two issues have got mixed up. And Vrinda, let me come to you on that. Do you believe that there has been, a very twisted kind of politics that has been played over this? If all the facts were in public domain, what Headley said to the NIA, let that be out in public domain. Stick to the original affidavit that you have, because you're changing your stand just a month later. You're deleting references. Let the facts be there, and let then a court of law take the process forward.
Actually, a court of law has taken the process forward. To follow up from where Praveen left, the division bench of the Gujarat High Court, while hearing a writ petition filed by Shamima Kausar, the mother of Ishrat Jahan, and Gopinath Pillai, father of Javed, these affidavits are filed by the Union of India in those writ petitions. These are counter affidavits filed by the Union of India. Pursuant to that, an SIT probe and a CBI investigation has determined through its investigation, monitored by the Gujarat High Court, that this is a fake encounter. They were taken into custody and murdered in cold blood, for which now there are two charge sheets pending before the CBI court Ahmedabad since July 2013 and February 2014. The question that nobody is asking, but as a lawyer for the family that sought justice and actually initiated the legal process. Otherwise, this was a shut case. Nobody was even asking the question, what happened in this so-called staged encounter? This question was asked by the mother, and she is today asking the question, why is that trial not commencing? And that is the question that we need to actually engage and agitate over. And so far as these affidavits are concerned, both the affidavits are in front of me. I do not speak for any political party. I speak for the client, the mother of Ishrat Jahan. In that first affidavit, of which much is being made, what is said in that affidavit? Mr. Mani says that based on newspaper reports published by Times of India, Hindu, etc., which have in turn cited Ghazwa Times of Lashkar-e-Toiba and the later apology, and I am going to read from there. He says that this tactical apology shows that she must have been an LET terrorist. This is not an intelligence input which is cited qua Ishrat in the affidavit.
Yes, but the same Mr. Mani now cites pressure and
newspaper
torture.
Reports
I mean, not now, he cited them a couple of years ago. But
I cannot speak for anybody. I can only look at record. Why Mr. Mani, even in this, where is the intelligence input?
All right, I think
cannot be used in a court of law. Where is there an intelligence input qua Ishrat being Lashkar-e-Toiba in the first affidavit?
No, but the point is, Aarti, before I come to Babul Supriyo, the point is you have a number of now, investigating officers. Again, I raised that point right at the beginning. Whether it's the former Home Secretary, whether, it's other senior officials at the time coming out and saying they came under pressure. So there's a kind of twisted politics that seems to have been played here.
There is, Nidhi, but I think these are all really red herrings, because we're losing focus of the main issue here. And the main issue here is, were these 4 people murdered in cold blood, or was it a genuine encounter? Whether Ishrat Jehan was a terrorist or not a terrorist is besides the point. And I think it is very important really to nail this question, because we cannot allow trigger-happy cops to be roaming around, shooting down people, whether they're terrorists or they're innocent people. These laws are there, these processes are there to protect all of us. Because tomorrow, a trigger-happy cop could just line up one of us, shoot us, and say that, well, she was a terrorist, she was an LET operative, that's why I shot her.
There are plenty of trolls who want to do that, but...
Yeah, no.
That's another story.
I'm sorry, this is something similar to, the JNU case. I mean, in the JNU case, they haven't shot anybody, but they're doing the same thing there too.
Supriyo, okay, let's take a look at that distinction. What is the main question here? Whether Ishrat was a terrorist, or whether this encounter was fake?
To me, what she said, that whether Ishrat Jehan was a terrorist or not, is absolutely besides the point.
In this particular case,
I am saying that I would disagree with that. I think they are completely 2 different points which needs to be debated separately. That's the first thing. Secondly, is this a political battle? I would rather say in zest that at least we are announced politicians. We are at least standing for our parties and fighting for it. Sometimes I find lawyers, they are wearing their legal jackets but are absolutely being party spokespersons. It's like you can hear the politics in the logic that they're putting forward.
Really objectionable,
that they're putting forward.
And you as an anchor need
Please
to
don't
put
take it
your foot
personally.
down.
Please don't take it personally. Please don't take it personally. You can call a politician.
Political motive to her. She's objecting to that.
No, that's fine. She can object to it, like I object to the political comments that she made about me.
You're a politician. She's
Yeah,
not.
no, but
She's a lawyer.
What I'm saying is
She
that
has a
why
right to
would
defend her client.
why would
I'm
the
speaking
NIA?
as her lawyer.
Yeah,
Can
exactly.
a lawyer under BJP regime defend a client or not?
No, but let me. I made my point. I don't want to go further on that. If you want to refute to that, you're most welcome to do that.
Political comment
I am saying I'm proud that I'm at least an announced politician and I'm doing my job of defending my party. Let me get into logic.
Let's not make it personal.
Can I,
Okay,
yeah,
firstly,
let me get into logic.
Don't make it personal.
I'm just saying
Let's
one thing.
stick to the issue.
I am
You
saying
made
that
the personal remark.
I am saying there are
Because you do
NIA
not-
team.
Any
Okay,
facts
we
you
move.
did
I have
not
said
say the
we
debate.
let's not
I am
make it
citing
personal.
from the affidavit.
Let's not make it personal. Yeah.
The
No, but
NIA.
Nidhi, you need
First
to
of all,
tell them to stop making it personal each time. This is
you
not.
have already called me an idiotic politician. What kind of language is that on television?
One second. Let's not deviate, please. This is an important
Let me say
issue.
my point. Yeah. What I'm saying is that in 2 months the affidavit was changed. Now, Money, Mr. Money had previously talked about torturing tactics being that was once talked about. After what Chidambaram ji had said, that the entire affidavit was the officers were aware of it. The officers actually came out in defense saying that something happened from the top, we were not aware of it. I have one simple question. These can be debated. I am just asking one simple question. When the SIT asked for the NIA for the evidence, that I would not like to assume that Mr. Hadley would have some kind of a enmity against Ishrat Jehan, that once not twice.
You're right, it
yes,
should have been there.
Why would he name her?
What Hadley said should have been there.
So why would he do that? So I don't think there is any personal enmity there.